Starting from a daily chart, just to get some perspective going inside Tuesday. You can see that the previous day, Monday, at the beginning of the week, with an inside bar. This is also created an immediate rebalancement, but my problem is that it's an inside bar, and so this was a phase of accumulation, an expansion to accumulation. So premium levels for tomorrow, the range high is obviously very important. If it is if it is traded at or above, what's the reaction? Is there a divergence followed by a lower time frame break of structure, or is there displacement? I'd say New York expands through it. That's so range high here, very important for tomorrow. If there's any divergences, obviously it ideally happens in London or New York. In terms of discounted levels, there's previously low, obviously. That would probably be the low hanging fruit objective if today, Tuesday, would be an open high low close profile. And then past that, there's a range low itself, right? Which can be a good target in case of bearish prices today, since there's a fair value gap sitting right under it. So premium levels, discount levels. If we look at a bit zoomed out, we can see that the monthly profile here is a classic buy month. The market has taken out all the buy side liquidity inside of the 3-month look back. So I suspect that there will be some kind of consolidation or retracement weekly profile coming up. We are inside the 3rd week of the month, and then after 2 weeks of expansion, I suspect that the market will want to take a break soon. The idea is not that I go inside the market and I look to short. The idea is that if a consolidation or a retracement profile happens, it's not something that would surprise me. And if it were to happen, then I can trade alongside it, because that would be a good lower time frame trend, right? A trend against the higher time frame trend, but a lower time frame trend that has narrative to it, right? And the narrative here being the monthly profile and the time of week. Another reason why I suspect that this week CAD could revisit discounted prices before either going up or simply consolidating around it or breaking them is because the previous weekly profile was obviously a classic buy week, but it was one that didn't have a TGIF retracement, right? A retracement near its close, or some kind of consolidation phase. Right? Thursday consolidated, but then Friday expanded and closed right at the highs. And so that's the reason why I would if we look a bit at this range, right? We have an order block sitting at around 25% of the previous weekly range. So I believe that's a key level for me to have this week. Right, 50% of that order block cuts right through the upper quadrant of the previous weekly range. I think this is a key level. It's a key level also because it's sitting below the weekly open. Right, so to me this is a good candidate if the week will be bullish to create a low of week into it to then manipulate higher, or have some kind of consolidation profile around, right, always making new range high but never really closing above it or displacing it until it revisits discounted levels and then rallies higher. This could look like it could look like a bullish seek and destroy profile. That can be a possibility. So this is a key level if ever this week would to revisit for whatever reason, right? It will likely hold either as support to trade higher. If the profile of week is bearish, it could inverse it. If it were to inverse it, then any retracement back into it, you want to look for shorts, right? And then low hanging fruits would be this fair value gap, which is Uh, it's in discounted price. It's at around, should be below 50% of. It's at 50% of the previous weekly range, and then it would be the previous week's new week opening gap. If for whatever reason the market were to reverse, but my best case scenario is a week that uses this bullish order block to send prices higher, or at least to hold prices inside of the range. I ideally would not want to see this high being broken. This order block being broken. If you look at the price profile of the previous week, right, you can see that most of the price spent the most time inside of the range. This is at around 25% of the range again, right around the highs, at above 50% of the range. So in premium, so this is an indication that the market wants to keep trading higher because it's expanding and consolidating, right? And after consolidation, there's likely another phase of expansion to follow. So, and again, this located below the opening price to me makes it a good candidate to see a turtle soup to trade higher. And if it is broken, then we have discounted prices to target. If we move to the hourly and look at the 3-day look back range, this is the 3-day look back range here. Yesterday consolidating around 50% of the range and leaving an important period inside of the range, which is this order block. Right, although here left relative equal lows, but these relative equal lows so far are backed up by this big red down close candle, which is a bullish a bullish hourly order block. There's previous week's high right above. There's Monday's low, which has relative equal lows, and there's Friday's low, which is currently the range low. Right, so that is the buy side, the sell side pool on the short term. On the longer term, well, longer from an hourly perspective, we have the 3-day look back chart. The 3-day look back sell side liquidity, which is the low of Thursday. Overall, to me, this will be very important. What's the reaction around it? Any SMTs or any displacements if it's traded before the bullish PD inside of the range. Again, if we look at the profile of this range, right, we can see that this was a consolidation day. Right, price spent the most amount of time at 50%, around 50% of the range, and left this large bullish order block here. So this will be an important PD ray to have tomorrow, right? Noted out. Again, either as a continuation or as an inversion. This would all depend on the daily profile, right, and how the highs are interacted, or the wick of it at least, right? As the wick of it, we can see that the market still hasn't closed above all-time highs. It's simply been wicking it. So the closure here to me will be important. Any fair value gaps also will be important. And then based on whatever happens around here, if anything happens, right, because it could be that for whatever reason the market dumps from here, then I can start framing the daily profile. If the market were to dump from these levels, right, then I would want to see New York interact with the order block here as an inverse, as an inversion PD rate. So essentially it would become a breaker, right? The final low before the high that then gets closed through. If that were to happen, then my low-hanging fruit would be previous day's low and then the range low. Past the range low, I personally wouldn't want to be looking to be short anymore. Actually, I'm ideally would be looking to get out at the previous day's low. That would be my objective. Even maybe the New York low. Because again, when I looked at the daily, looked at the 4 hour, uh, for all that matters, as much as it's going to go, is the order block high, which is where the previous day low is. Make low of week into those levels, right? Tuesday. So Friday expansion, Monday accumulation, right? So I'm expecting now to see the manipulation phase happen to then trade higher. Now, if you look at the 3-day look back profile, right? So the current range that we're trading into, which is this low and this high, right? That's the range that we're trading inside of. If we look at the profile of this curve, I can see that the accumulation phase inside of the range is above 50% of the range, right? And which is represented here by this order block. Now that price is trading above it. And so, and below it we have I believe this is the range of the 4-hour order block, right? So very likely, even if price is bearish, price will be finding some kind of resistance here. But for you to be bearish, you have to have a bearish weekly profile narrative, right? Which at the moment isn't there. So at the moment, the best trade is the long still out of it until the weekly profile invalidates it. So far, we've only had a range, an accumulation phase. So is there a manipulation under to then trade higher? Is there a manipulation above it to trade lower? Or is there an expansion away from it, right? And then followed by either retracement or consolidation to then continue trading higher. So depending on the weekly profile and tomorrow's profile, tomorrow we should get some answers for the weekly profile since it's Tuesday and since Monday has been an accumulation phase. Now what I mean by that, but we'll say Tuesday stays internal still to Friday's range, right? This can mean that the profile of week is either seek and destroy or a potential Wednesday reversal type of profile. Say today keeps expanding, well then the profile of week could be a classic buy week or some kind of Wednesday reversal, right? Could be one of the other in case it's open low high close or open high low close. So it's classic buy, seek and destroy, or some kind of Wednesday reversal, right? So overall, those are the three profiles that are in play at the moment since Monday was in accumulation phase.